spring, the season the majority of us carp anglers look forward to with the most anticipation. The sun has come out, nature is coming back to life after a long, cold winter, the flowers are in bloom, and the carp are seeking the warmth of the sun and becoming more active and beginning to feed with more eagerness. I always mark spring as the time of year where I fish with the most intensity, taking advantage of this prime fishing time, and this year was going to be no different. I'd booked a trip over to France to fish a lake I hadn't been to before, but I had heard that it was not only good for an early spring bite, but it also held some decent sized carp. The trip didn't start the best, with an issue with my van on the drive over, resulting in me losing a day of angling as I had to stop off at a French garage for repairs. That's not the start I wanted. AdBlue issue with the van. For some reason in it can't register there's AdBlue in there, so I've had to book in to a garage in France. So fishing doesn't start yet. I've just booked a hotel because it's going to take at least 24 hours. So great, welcome back to carp fishing. I'm so excited. It's been 3 months since I went fishing, and now I'm in some random French town checking my car in to be serviced. I only bought it 3 weeks ago. Bloody hell. After losing the first planned day, I was able to get down the lake with a repaired van and I was able to get stuck into the fishing. Here we are, it is spring, start of the new carp fishing season. I've not carp fished in ages, so I can't wait to get started. Brand new lake, brand new tackle sponsor, brand new beard I shaved this morning. I'm ready for a bit of a fresh start and I can't wait. Spring is all about fresh starts, new changes. Let's go, catch some fish. I'd recently swapped the majority of my gear over to Fox, a new brand I'd partnered up with for my fishing and content creation. As I was just getting used to having a whole new setup, I didn't want to fish anywhere too crazy. I didn't want easy fishing, but I didn't want anything too taxing, so that I could really spend time getting to grips with the new tackle I had. I was going to be fishing a classic spring tactic, bright pop-ups over little traps of bait. I'll be fishing spinner rigs using size 6 wide gape hooks with a selection of hook baits, dairy creams, northern specials, and pineapple ultras. If one of them started producing, I could swap over to the successful hook bait on the other rods. Bait-wise, it'll be a selection of food items, including particle, live system, and processing boilies. I wouldn't bait too heavily, and just fish for a single bite at a time. With the rods sorted, I decided it would be wise to bait another area of the lake as a fallback plan. I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket, and needed something else to rely on should plan A not work. I always try and do this in my fishing. I went to a back bay and actually found a few carp cruising around the upper layers next to a snag. Oh my god, look at that! You got any bread?
Cheeks.
Literally there. 1, 2, 3. That's my friend Marco, by the way. You may recognise him from past videos on this channel. It's just there. 1, 2, 3. With no bread available for a quick opportunist bite, and considering the carp weren't that big, I made the decision to bait the area as somewhere to fall back onto. I spread a couple of kilos of Odyssey XXX, Pro Stim and Live System all along the snag line they were patrolling, and I hoped that it would be something that would pay me back later in the session. Back in the main swim, it was time to get fishing. Right, let's get these rods out. Let's do this. I was going to fish the rods long to a series of bars that ran between the islands, as I felt like the fish would be moving along these as opposed to the deeper water that wouldn't be feeling the warmth of the spring sun as much as the shallow water along the bar. I would use the deeper bait boat for this in order to hit the range and ensure I was fishing along the bar. With all 4 rods placed along these interconnecting bars, I was fishing, and I was able to relax. It'd been a long winter without much angling for myself, and with the van trouble on the way out here, it was nice to finally be sat behind rods, waiting for a bite under the shelter of a brolly. I didn't have to wait too long, however, until one of the rods were away. Oh, fast bite. Whew, come on. Exciting times. I've not felt it like head shake yet. No, it's not a touch.
Carp.
Yeah, definitely carp.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was to start with. It's been that long since I
heard an alarm.
I heard an alarm, and I've not heard that alarm before, like when I've been fishing.
Oh,
I was like, what's that sound? Oh,
Sit with your cap. the yellow.
First fox fish in the net.
Nice one.
Come on, get in there. Nice. Well, there we go. Didn't take too long at all. First carp of the session, first carp of the year, first carp since I joined Fox. Yeah, it's a carp that's the first of many, to put it like that. Hopefully we'll catch a few more. Sun's just setting now. It's a long day getting everything sorted, but we're fishing and we're catching, so I'm sure we're gonna get a few more. Lovely start. With the fish released and the sun setting, it was time to retreat into the brolly in anticipation for the night ahead. Well, good morning, and it is raining pretty hard today. Yeah, doesn't feel so much like spring. It feels like we're still very much in winter when the weather's like it is today. Pretty grim. I had a couple of tench at first light, nothing else in the night. I need to redo the rods now. Through this rain, yeah, I'm not really looking forward to it, but I need to redo the rods, and then it's going to be a case of sitting under the brolly for most of the day, trying to stay dry. But yeah, not the best weather to be carp fishing in, put it like that. The weather really was a bit grim, and I didn't fancy spending much time out in it. It also threw me back a bit, as I was hoping that the fish would be in the shallows seeking the spring sunshine, but it didn't look like that was going to be the case. I refreshed the rigs and redropped them with the bait boat, putting one in slightly deeper water towards the direction of where I had a few carp crash out in the night. With all 4 rods fishing once more, it was time to seek shelter from the rain and wait for a bite. In the late afternoon, the rain had cleared and I was able to head out into the open to watch the water properly. I'd noticed that the seagulls were swinging low across the water, as if they were eating something off the surface, and there were a number of caddis shells in the edge, confirming that there had been a hatch going on.
A load of these casings in the edge from some sort of larvae hatch, and there's a good chance the carp could be on it. I mean, those fish we saw yesterday on the lake behind, they were definitely feeding on something on the surface. And although Marco did catch a few on over bait, it has slowed down over the last 24 hours.
My only worry is maybe the fish have gotten on that hatch pretty much since I got here, and yeah, they're not really responding to bait anymore. But I want to keep fishing over bait. I know it doesn't really make sense considering what I've just said, but I still think fishing over bait this time of year, well, I don't really know exactly where the fish are, is better than fishing zigs, which I know a lot of you are screaming at me to do, but it's a very, very big lake, this, like 80, 90 acres. So not massive by French standards, but a big enough lake that chucking a couple of bits of black foam in it where you don't really know where the fish are feels like a bit of a long shot. If it was a couple of acre lake in England and the fish were all in a corner and they couldn't get a bite off bait, then yeah, 100% zigs. But right now, yeah, I think at least one more night fishing over bait and just hope that they respond to it and they're not completely obsessed with this lava hatch. I know I maybe should have put zigs out, but I just wasn't feeling confident enough in the fish's location to do so. And at least with fishing over a parcel of bait, you can draw the fish into the area with the scent of the bait. The day passed by with very little to report, so in anticipation for the night, I refreshed a couple of the rods with hard track pop-ups and got them back out on the spot and turned in for the night. It's like an alright one, you know. Come on, mate. Come on, mate. In you go. There we go. Oh, it's taken long enough, but there's number 2. Well, morning guys, it has not been a spring smasher by any means. I think the rain, the fly hatch, all that's putting the fish off from eating bait. But we did manage another one last night, and oh, it's a 40 pounder. Check him out. 40 pound an ounce is just to scrape a 40, my first 40 of the year. Yeah, lovely, lovely carp that. When the action's not coming too thick and fast, it's nice to be singling out a bigger one. I'm a bit unsure of what to do today. I'm going to get the rods back out. I'm going to switch them all over to the yellow Pineapple Ultras because that's what I've had the 2 bites on. Fish them long over towards a bar that I found where it goes from about 9 foot up to 7 foot. I want to fish there for yeah, maybe till early afternoon, and then I might go stalking on that pre-bait spot as well. And I've got one more night, and then that's the end of the session. It's going pretty quickly. With only 2 fish to show for it so far, I'm sure a few more will show up. Lovely stuff. Thank you, mate. I'm gonna get you back. You're quite heavy. Oh. Right, let's get those rods out and try and catch another one. It's nice for the sun to finally be out again. I have been cooped up under this brolly for the last 36 hours. First time fishing in a brolly in a long time, I've got to say. It's probably since 8-9 years ago. Like, yeah, been a long time. I used to have the Fox Super brolly. That's what I had before I joined Nash. And yeah, I thought I'd get another brolly again. When I got here and saw the forecast, I was regretting it a bit, but I do actually quite like it. Got loads of space, got a flat liner in here, plenty of space underneath for bags. It's nice and like cocooned. I don't know, it just feels really, really carpy. Like I'm a big fan of it. I've always I thought brollies were a bit of a thing of the past, but no, I like this one, and yeah, makes me feel a bit carpy. I've got the rods out, lovely view of them, and I'm going to leave it a couple more hours. Hopefully we get a bite in that time. If not, I think I'm going to go stalking this afternoon. The weather, like I said, it's starting to get sunny. The carp should be on the move again after the horrible weather we have had, so maybe getting on our toes and being a bit more proactive might bring a bit more success. But for now, yeah, I'm just chilling in the sun, enjoying things, and hopefully one of those rods bust off in the next hour or so. I think the nicer weather has definitely got them moving around, and that shallow bar is where they want to be. Yeah, tench in the net. Quite a big tench, but not what we're after. Let's go stalking, I think. With the tench returned, it was time to head off to find a new opportunity. I went to my pre-baited area, confident that dropping a couple of rods in the area where I'd seen fish already would be a good way to spend a few hours this afternoon. I headed to the pre-baited spot, hopeful that the fish was still in the area. With the fishing being relatively slow, I was regretting not fishing for the carp as soon as I'd seen them there a couple of days previous. But I'd made that mistake already, so there was no point dwelling on it. I had to make the best of the situation I was in. I cast a couple of rods out along where I'd placed the bait. The drop on the cast was around 3 seconds, so the margin would be about 9 foot in depth, a little deeper than I'd hoped, especially after seeing the fish in the upper layers. With 2 rods on bright pop-ups cast out, it was time to sit back in the sun. The wind was pushing into the swim, but it was a cold wind. I really wasn't feeling overly confident. As the sunlight began to fade, I felt like this was a lost cause. Well, whilst it's been extremely nice sat in the sun all day behind rods, no carp to report, and I was quite surprised because I've seen those fish here when we first got here, putting a bit of bait on. I really thought we had a good chance, but no luck. Let's go back to the main swim, sort those rods out, get them out on that long spot on the bar, and hope we get something in the night. Hooks were refreshed for the night ahead, and I dropped the rods long with the bait boat. This was going to be the final night of my little spring session, and it hadn't exactly been a carver that I'd been hoping for. It had been nice to get out after a long winter, but one more fish would really help make the session that little bit more special. I thought this was going to be a bream or a tench. It's all I've caught so far tonight. It definitely doesn't feel like a tench anymore. Through the mist and all. Don't normally catch them in the fog. Oh, a long night of tench. Finally a carp. The tench had been relentless that night and I was feeling shattered, but so pleased to have managed a carp at the end. I let her rest in the sling whilst I waited for the mist to burn off in the morning sun before getting my prize out for a few pictures. It's burning through and we've got a lovely spring day now, and here come all the excuses. I think that's one of the reasons why this session has been a struggle. I mean, I know you can come to this venue and really have it off, and yeah, it's not been that case for me. I think the change in weather, the rain, the change in wind, the fly hatch, all this rubbish that I'm going to blame it on, yeah, hasn't really helped us out. But we've finished with another nice one, another 40 pounder. Check him out, just over 40 again. I think this is sort of the upper average size in here. And yeah, like I said, you can have big hits on here. That's not been the case for us. We've had to work for them, but I just don't think the fish are fully woken up yet. And when you get a day like today, first really warm day of spring, the fish just sit there sunbathing, supercharging themselves up. I think could be a couple of weeks early, but we've landed 3 nice carp. I've given the Fox gear a nice run out. Looking forward to using that over the next few years, and I'll be sharing my thoughts with that on you. But yeah, for now, a nice little easy session back in for spring, a couple of 40 pounders. Yeah, it's not been an absolute smash up, but you can't complain too much. Thanks for watching, guys. Plenty more carp adventures coming, so if you're interested in that, please do subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.